Charter and Disney manage to strike a deal. Google goes to court. And nobody can tell whether something was made by AI.
It's news to me. Welcome to It's News to Me, where the it is IT and the me is whoever it needs to be. I'm Noah Parker.
I'm Michael Trotter Lawson.
And I'm Tyler Rasnick.
I'm going to leave that pause in there.
All right, another new episode. Another new
Alphabetical order.
Another hypothetical
Let's
question.
do an episode where we just go through the whole alphabet and we each have to, say a sentence that starts with that letter.
That sounds bad. Let's not do that.
Okay.
I think that's like an improv game.
That's what I'm here for. Improv games.
We probably should do a segment at some point that is it's like workshopped ideas or something. They could be tech related or not.
Have an example.
Well, there's this podcast I like, the Bill Simmons podcast. He used to have this guy named Kevin Wildes, and he had a segment called Half-Baked Ideas, and he just had these ideas that were half-baked. Great ideas.
Okay. My
favorite one is DiBiase House, and the premise is there's a wrestler in the 80s called Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Okay.
His whole premise was everybody's got a price, for the $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
So DiBiase House is an app that you would get on your phone, and have you ever been at a friend's house and you see something? Like,
I don't have any friends.
But if you did, imagine if you did.
Okay.
It's like, wow, that's a really nice coffee table. Like, I would love to have that coffee table. How much is that coffee table? You don't want to ask the friend, hey, how much would you take for this coffee table? So what you do is you'd load up the DiBiase House app. You'd see what they have for sale in their house, and discreetly you would go and scan that item somehow, and you'd be like, oh, they want $300 for this table. So you could purchase it, and then when you leave, you'd be like, I'm taking the table, the transaction's already happened. DiBiase House. It's a great half-baked idea. We should do something like that.
Like, the concept's there, but it really wouldn't work that well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be a segment. You can cut all this out. All right, hypothetical.
All right, yeah.
All right, so this one's a classic. If you could be transported into any fictional universe, which one would you go to?
Oh, wow. Great question. Fictional universe. This one's hard. Because there's a bunch that off the top of my head, the first one that comes to mind is The Matrix.
The Matrix?
That seems like a terrible idea.
Listen, I'm about to explain why it's a good idea. If you'll just give me a second. So you remember there's the dude, I forgot his name, in the second movie? The guy that's like, I know this isn't real steak, but it's really good, and I want to eat the steak.
Yeah.
Like, let me eat the steak.
I mean, you could just go to, Texas Roadhouse.
I know, but I'm not like a...
And not...
I'm not like a...
I
don't have superpowers at Texas Roadhouse, though.
But just because you get transported to the universe of the Matrix doesn't mean you're one of the cool people who has powers. You could just be one of the people stuck in the pod.
Well,
the thing in the back of your neck.
I would have, Tank and his brother. I would be Neo. I
don't think that was the question.
Okay, well then, if that's not the question, I don't want to be in that universe. You mean the protagonist, right?
I don't know. Let's do two then. One where you're like the main character, and another one where you're just like, the equivalent of the person you are in this world.
Main character, Matrix, all day long. Like, I can bend stuff. Like, it's just sweet, And I can also come out every once in a while and be like, ooh, this is, grim, dark, cyberpunk type thing. This is cool. But without that...
Main character... Wallace and Gromit.
just unfortunate looking.
Yeah, but I make cool little trinkets and I eat a lot of cheese.
You're like, oh, Gromit, it's cheese.
Gromit, we've forgotten the crackers.
Oh, wow, what a day we've had today. Eating the cheese. That's you?
Yeah.
That's the universe you'd transport.
That doesn't seem so bad, yeah.
That's a bad joke.
No, that's not the universe I would go to. That's the main character I would want to be.
But it would be that universe.
Well, yeah, but I thought we were having two separate questions.
Yeah, but you're
Right.
in the universe.
Well, yeah, but I get to pick a different universe to be transported to and
No,
not
you
be
get to
the main
pick
character.
the main character of the universe.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's saying that like for the main character one, he would do Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, there's two separate questions here.
I know. It's a bad universe. I don't care. It's not good.
Why? Their biggest problems are that there's were-rabbits. That doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen Wallace have to pay taxes.
And
so,
an evil
you know.
penguin.
Yeah, but you'll never love anything but Gromit.
That's fine.
Okay.
Wallace falls in love in like every single thing they do
Does he?
with some random lady.
It
Yeah,
just
but
usually doesn't
it's not
last,
reciprocated,
though.
right?
Well, sometimes it lasts.
He's a ladies' man?
Not long.
Yeah, he's like a freaking hoser, you know?
I watched
Okay.
that documentary. None of those relationships panned out well.
No, but they panned out a bit. Listen, I'm not in this for the love of women. I'm in this for the love of cheese. And my dog.
Okay. I can respect that. Maybe, like, a universe where I'm not the main character is, like, Star Trek?
Really?
Yeah, because they pretty much have it all figured out.
Does this include video game?
Yeah, that's in any fictional universe. So
Gosh, I don't know.
Maybe Minecraft, actually?
That's just Earth but cubed.
Yeah, but, like, I don't die of, like, cancer. I would die of, like... I mean, no one ever
well,
dies
you
of...
die after hunger
No, you
after
don't die
like
of
a couple
poison.
of days.
Yeah, but it's
You know,
infinite.
it's
I can
kinda-
find food. I've played enough Minecraft to know that I would
I mean, it
survive for
would
a
be
while.
nice to like walk outside and just like kick a chicken and then it just drops like a whole like skinned rotisserie ready to
Yeah.
be cooked.
And a feather.
And you just throw it in a fire for like
A furnace.
30 seconds and it's done. Like that's not so bad.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
Tetris.
I feel like there's an amount of effort that you would have to be exerting if you were actually like Steve. You know, that's not really expressed in the game. You know, can you imagine if you had to actually like punch a tree for like, even if it was just for like 20 seconds?
Well,
to-
yeah, but it takes
like,
no.
would-
You don't get any damage punching a tree.
Yeah,
no, but like there are things in life that you wouldn't like take damage from that would still like hurt. You know.
Yeah,
Maybe like The Sims. I'd have someone making all the decisions and choices for me.
Yeah, until you get stuck in a pool and they
Yeah.
remove the ladder.
That's true. Yeah, but I think it happened to me anyway. I can't swim. That might happen in real life, in this universe anyway. So,
I just thought of you in a pool, and then someone just pulls the ladder out, and you, oh no!
there's a
And
little
you
text
just-
bubble with like an exclamation
Yeah.
point. I'm like, I'm like Simlish. Narzi Benuptal. Whatever. Trying to get out.
Oh man.
I don't know. Let me think about it. Michael, what would you choose?
Yeah, you haven't given us anything yet.
Well, you know, I don't know. It might just be recency bias, but for like main character, I might just go with like Starfield, because like
That's too relevant.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing about Starfield that I like the most about it is that it does that already. Like it automatically I'm transported when I'm playing that game. I'm in the universe.
Yeah, I work in a corporate environment.
yeah, but exactly. If that were just my life, then I wouldn't have to, you know, turn around and go to bed or things.
That's
like
true.
that.
I've reached a point in my corporate video game job where I can make my own hours now, so that's pretty nice.
That is very
Not that I, couldn't do that before.
Ugh.
See, I don't know, like, part of me just wants to say, like, the Mario universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, they have races and fights and sports and events and games and
Parties.
parties. And
Yeah, but it's easy to overlook the fact that
Paper.
like in the first game, like most of the Mushroom Kingdom gets turned into blocks.
The Mushroom Kingdom gets messed up, like, in every single game, almost.
Right. So if you were just a random person, then you know,
Oh, yeah, it should be a block.
yeah.
That's true. Maybe that would be my main character thing then.
And Bowser would be like some kind of like kaiju thing trying to get you.
That'd be cool. I mean, not, like, for me.
Well, you would have to rely on a plumber to save you too.
Hmm.
And you have to hope that that plumber doesn't, you know,
I don't
destroy
know. Well,
your
see,
block.
here's the thing though. Think about it.
On a
In a
whim.
lot of Mario content, all the like Koopas and Toads and the extras of Mario.
Yeah.
In terms of audience and stuff, they're usually doing fine. And
Yeah.
you,
Shy
you
Guy.
always save them. I love Shy Guy. He's like my favorite Mario character.
Yeah, Shy Guy's who I always play in parties.
When you select Shy Guy in Mario Kart, he makes a sound and it goes. and it's great.
I don't know. I feel like if I were to be some like just random guy, I don't know. I mean, if I could just be like,
Can I be the main character in Doodle God?
Doodle God?
Yeah, you never played Doodle God?
No.
It's an app where you like combine elements to make other things.
See, the thing about being a main character in an app, though, is I'm assuming that you would lose relevancy and your world would cease to exist once, like,
That's
operating
true,
system
yeah,
support
you're right.
ended. So maybe not that.
I want to. What about Pop Tropica or Club Penguin? I want to live in the Club
What
Penguin.
about
universe.
Millsberry? Y'all remember Millsberry?
I've eaten a Pillsbury.
No, Millsberry was this, like... It was the Neopets people made this game when I was like 10, and it was like on the back of the cereal boxes, the Mills brand,
Oh, okay.
General Mills, and you created like a character just like you would Neopets, and you had a little house and all that.
Nice.
It was
That's
pre-Club
cool.
Penguin. That's what you need. The Millsberry universe. Maybe that's my answer, because the Millsberry universe is so like nostalgic and chill.
I don't know. I definitely wouldn't want to live in like the DC or Marvel universe.
well, yeah, because there's like, if you're not a superhero, you're just
Yeah,
cannon
you're-
fodder.
And honestly, like Star Wars would be cool, but I don't think I'd want to be like a main character in Star Wars because they usually have a lot of crap to go.
A lot of
through.
tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the vast majority of just the people in Star Wars, like
Have
the
bad
normal
lives.
people, are just, well,
Yeah.
they're either like as good or worse than, you know, the things we're doing now.
Probably
Yeah.
worse, because like that whole like thing from the Obi-Wan show where like he was working that job and they were like killing themselves for like a little piece of slop. I was like, oh god.
Right, and you read, like, I've read, like, the Thrawn books where you learn stuff about, you know, coming up in, like, the corporate culture in Coruscant. Like, that's not good either. There's, like, yeah.
Maybe I'll stay where I'm at. This is pretty sweet.
I want to go somewhere that has magic, but I just can't think of anything good.
Harry Potter?
No.
That's got magic.
It would no. I mean, it does, but
Lord of the Rings?
What about, like, the Forgotten Realms?
Maybe.
D&D.
That'd be kind of cool. Could go there.
I don't know. I think, like, if I go to, like, Star Trek and just be, like, back on Earth, like a futuristic...
That's what I mean.
you know.
Just chilling. Like I've got like healthcare and I don't have to worry about anything.
I could do like the Futurama universe.
You can do those vids or whatever where you like go back in time.
There's not a lot of, like, you know, good utopian fictional universes because
No, it's
because
when-
if it were, it wouldn't be very exciting.
I'd
It's
go
boring,
to
yeah,
I'd
so-
go to the fictional universe where I can push the button and nobody dies.
Oh, I would go to the. I just go to the Good Place. No, you all never seen the show the Good Place?
I've nope. Is it?
Never
what is
heard of
it?
it?
No.
Yeah, well,
No.
I don't know. One of the four people who's listening to this will
A quarter of our audience may chime in.
will know what the Good Place is. It's a show where it's basically all about the afterlife, but like, you know, that universe would just be like the normal Earth, but then when you die, you're basically
On like the perfect Earth.
no, it's like, I don't know.
Must not be that good.
All right. So earlier this week, Disney and Charter finally reached a deal on their dispute involving the channels owned by Disney and, you know, Charter, the cable company distributing them.
Well, that's good.
I'm sure many people were happy. Wasn't that like was that Saturday?
I believe it was.
It was like during football, I thought.
So a little bit of backfill if you're not in the know. Disney and Charter Spectrum had a disagreement on pricing for Disney's channels, and Disney decided to pull all of their channels off of Charter on the start of football season
Pretty much.
in the
yeah.
midst of the U.S. Open, which frustrated a lot of people because Disney includes all the ESPNs and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, Disney owns ABC and ESPN, you know, obviously.
And every
among,
other
like,
letter of the alphabet.
Disney Channel,
well, yeah, Disney Channel.
Teen Disney.
Disney
Don't they
XD.
own some of like National Geographics or something too?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe. But I mean, the biggest ones were sports, because I mean, let's be honest, sports are basically the only reason most people still have cable.
Yeah, I think the top of the top 100 most watched things last year, like 80% of them were some sporting event
Wow.
Right.
On cable.
on cable. Yeah.
Right. Because I think, you know, there's most other kinds of content you can find on other places. All the TV shows and movies and whatnot are moving to streaming. And
Well, I mean, they have all sorts of streaming services for sports now, don't they?
They do, but it's not as... Like, the major sport networks still have broadcast deals, exclusive broadcast deals with...
Gotcha.
With all these traditional channels.
With all the broadcasters and commenters that everyone knows and loves.
Right. Which is why it was a big deal that they struck this deal right before... right before the first Monday Night Football game of the season, so all those Charter subscribers could see Jets fans' hearts get broken.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're talking about, don't they already have streaming services? I think that's part of why Charter was sort of standing their ground, was that Disney, in essence, was like double dipping as far as what their packages are.
Yeah.
And traditionally, the way that like cable works, and especially like sports packages on cable, like ESPN was in, I think that was Disney, used to be Disney's like their revenue leader, used to be ESPN. It was because of the deals that they had with all the different cable companies and Dish Network and satellite companies, because it would be bundled with the other Disney products. And even if no one watched Disney, you're paid for cable, you're paying for ESPN. And ESPN, the rights fees were pretty hefty. But now they have ESPN Plus, there's Hulu, there's all these other ways to watch that. And they're still charging the same rights fees they were charging before for cable.
Yeah.
So I think that Charter's stance, was that this is not what it used to be worth. And they're correct.
Right. But also, it's not really a position of power for Charter, because, I mean, the longer this went on, the more people just, canceled their Charter subscription and went with, things like YouTube TV, or even better for Disney, they went to like Hulu TV, which is owned by Disney. So
I found it interesting that Charter explicitly said that, if agreements couldn't be reached and things didn't, come to fruition, that they were willing to just completely walk away from the cable world.
Yeah, I mean, they're like a telecom. Like, that's their big vertical. They don't really care or need cable. Like, that's just sort of secondary.
Which is fascinating,
And they're in the mobile world now, too, as far as mobile networks go.
And I didn't realize this, they also, they made this deal and got most of the Disney channels back on Spectrum, but not all of them.
Yeah, I heard about that some of them were not going to come back, and they were just...
Well, I think that was part of Spectrum's issues, and because that's the thing, like, people for years were... And I forgot who it was, if it was Romney or McCain. Somebody had a bill in Congress, basically, that was trying to push through the options for like a la carte cable, because like you pay one sum for cable and you may only watch 6 of the channels, but you're paying for all of it because that's how rights fees work and advertising fees. So I think that was Charter's main gripe, and that's really Disney's has been doing this for a long time. It's not just Disney, it's Viacom and everybody else, but they package all of these in. It's like, well, if you want ESPN, you've also got to take Corncob TV or whatever. You've got to have that as well.
Well, like, Disney Junior, Disney XD, there's no reason for an adult without children to be paying for
I think those
channels like
aren't
that.
Those two of the channels that they're not bringing back? Yeah.
And part of the, which is, I'm honestly shocked that Disney agreed to this deal. Like, it makes me think that there's still like more money in cable than I thought there was.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of parents probably even, don't use streaming services and just put on, like, Disney Junior for their kids.
I don't even know if it's parent. I know it's a lot of people, like, over the age of, like, 50 that just don't want to bother with an app. Yeah. They've had cable for years, and they know how to navigate it, and they feel intimidated by someone having something on an app. And they'll get it, their kids will set it up for them, and then they'll forget their password, and they don't want to call their kids and be like, I forgot my password, I can't get into Hulu. So they just don't. Well, that's all I got to say about that. I'm happy that it's back. I don't have Charter, I'm just happy for those that...
I have Charter.
I know downstairs we were all sad that ESPN was off, so we have Charter here, the office, so...
Do we? I didn't even realize.
Yeah, that's when I figured out it was off for Charter because we were down there trying to watch the replay for something, and we had the blackout a couple weeks ago when it started.
All right. Well, I suppose let's move on to artificial intelligence, because AI is always in the news for something, at least these days.
It's the new crypto.
Well, yeah, or even though that crypto is out now, basically.
Yeah, no one talks about it. We talk about AI every day, though.
So there's kind of a couple of stories here. For one, OpenAI has openly admitted that AI writing detectors just do not work, which I think is news, but it's not really news when you start to think about it, because the way these things work is by scrubbing millions and millions and millions of written works on the internet.
Yeah.
So they know how to write like a human, because
well, at least like a facsimile, it's like it's a neural network, so I mean it's different. It's not exactly the same as what different humans obviously have different writing styles, but there's no way to detect a writing style.
Right.
And ChatGPT doesn't even do a great job. If you say write this in the style of whoever, it gets close enough, but it's not great. But there's really no way to look at a bunch of words that are assembled and say, yeah, it's a lot easier with art and other things, but with things like this, I don't really know how.
Yeah, you can tell if something is poorly written by AI.
Yeah.
But if it's written well.
Right. And, things really start to fall apart once people, make edits. Even just changing out, a few words here and there, you really just, it's impossible. I mean, it's and I mean, here with marketing copy and things like that, a lot of that stuff sounds so similar anyway. It's
yeah, you get the same jargon over and over again.
Well, yeah. And just to say that something doesn't sound I know plenty of humans that can't write well. Right. Anyway, some people that may work here, I don't know.
Me. That's me.
Some people, or people that I'll correspond with, and I'm like, this is a real email that someone sent that came from their brain. So, I don't know. AI at least, get you a above replacement level. So I don't even really know, I guess this is going to be used for educators, but I just still hold steadfast to the idea that AI is going to be like a tool. Well, we just have to learn to utilize it and use it.
I think it's really just interesting to hear about all this, as an actual official, thing that's put out.
Yeah.
Because, when AI first started, when ChatGPT first started, coming up being a big thing, all these professors at school said that they had tools to tell if you AI generated your work. And there were kids that got in trouble for it. And it's very apparent now that any accusation was not under, true pretenses.
It was like the old Santa Claus defense where he sees you when you're sleeping, when you're awake, but they don't. Santa Claus isn't real.
He sees you when you're writing. He knows if it's AI.
He knows if it's a fake.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do think, if I were still in high school and, this technology were actively being, if I were in high school now and I were, was trying to use, ChatGPT per se to, write an essay for me, I think a lot of my teachers would be able to tell because,
they're familiar with your writing style and cadence and...
Right.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I'm consistent enough about anything I ever do to have a style that would be recognizable. So I think I'd be good to use ChatGPT to write some papers.
The thing is, for new students, for kids who are just now getting into high school and things like that, I don't know how.
I've seen it some...
I think it's going to change dramatically.
I think it's good that they're starting to actually kind of teach ChatGPT as a tool to use instead of just acting like it's some forbidden thing that shouldn't be touched.
Right. Well, I think they're going to have to, right? I mean...
Yeah.
And I think it is worth noting that, we've seen it time and time again.
Time after time.
These kind of tools are not going to, supplant good writers or things like that. Because, the people who want to write are still going to write.
Right.
I mean, there's certain nuances that really just have to come from a human element.
Right. At least for now.
Well,
it's mostly like eliciting an emotional response. I feel like that's going to be the big difference between like what an AI is capable of and what humans bring to art and things like this is eliciting an emotional response. I don't think that you're going to get that from AI because it's not going to know, obviously, what the emotion is in the first place to try to elicit that.
Yeah.
So.
Right. I think it's worth wondering, at some point, are we going to reach a point where, people just don't need to really, they don't need to know how to write, They need to learn how to read and they need to know how to prompt. But
I mean, prompting is a form of writing, arguably.
yes, but it's not the same.
No, it's certainly not the same, but I mean, I wish that was something that I had a better understanding of. Because, I don't like writing. I hate it. It's my least favorite thing in the world to do. I'd rather be forced to go bungee jumping where they hang you over the cliff and then cut the rope very slowly than have to write a paper. That's my price. But, anyways, I struggle, because I dabble with AI stuff. I think it's neat. But it's hard to get the results you want because I don't know a good way to get to the point I'm trying to get to a lot of the time.
Right.
I like communicating. Like, I enjoy communicating, whether that's verbally or written. And I feel like that may be the skill set that you still need to develop, obviously. But I still sometimes, like, if I'm in, like, a crunch or if I reach, like, an impasse where I just don't know what to say next, sometimes I will...
You just say next segment.
Well, I'll write in... No. I'll write into, like, one of the AIs, like... word a way to say what I'm trying to say, and then sometimes it'll come up with something, and I won't ever really rip it off, but it'll give me, it'll sort of help me leap through the block that
Gives
I'm
you a little
currently.
nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, honestly, like, with that, there's a marketing handout that I've been working on, and there's a copy of it sitting over there on the table, and...
Here, wait, let me rustle it so everyone knows it's here.
Basically all that stuff, I had an idea of what I wanted it to say, but I couldn't figure out, what exactly I was going for, so I would, start writing what I had, and I would just, tell Chat GPT, finish the following, and, it would give me, some more words, and I would, reword that and workshop it a bit. And it's nice sometimes to just be able to edit something as opposed to trying to come up with it completely from scratch.
Yeah, you have like a writing co-pilot,
right?
Basically. Which, on a side note, ChatGPT is a bad name. They gotta come up with a better name,
right?
It's hard to say.
Can they now?
They should. They should rebrand it to something else, like a single word.
Okay, new hypothetical. What would you name it if you could rename it?
Google has Bard, and I think that's a good name.
Yeah.
It
just sucks.
The reputation's not there.
Yeah.
But that's a good name for it. I could probably put that in ChatGPT and see what you
rename ChatGPT.
What would you name yourself? Actually, I'm going to ask.
Yeah, ask it. I feel like this is important for AI research. I would probably name it like
Jerp.
Jerp?
I don't know. That's just what I came.
That's
up
what you came.
That's
up
from
with?
my brain.
See, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to name it something like Oracle.
That's already taken, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good one though, because basically it's like
Zordon.
Zordon.
His name is Zordon. He gave all the Power Rangers knowledge. He can give us knowledge too.
It's not giving me good names.
What is it? What's it giving you?
No, it's just saying I'm just a computer program, so I don't have personal preferences or a name of my own. You can call me ChatGPT or any name you like.
Hold on.
Any name you like's a pretty good one.
Anything you want.
You're like Apollo.
What about Whopper, 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 Whopper?
BK.
What a horrible commercial.
Copyright strike. But clearly it's not a horrible commercial since it sticks with you.
It's true.
Yeah, but it actively makes me not want Burger King, so I think it's a horrible commercial for me.
Yeah, but what if you go around singing it and it actively makes other people want Burger King? Then it's successful again.
Or even if they don't want Burger King in that moment, they're thinking about Burger King now.
I'll be honest, though, to Tyler's point, every time I think about Burger King, I think about how much I don't want Burger King.
Right.
I never think about, man, I really want Burger King.
I do that too, but that's because I worked at Burger King for several years and hated every
You
second
did not
of it.
work there for
I worked at
several
Burger King
years.
for 1 year, and I hated every second of it to the point where it felt like a lifetime, Mr. Parker.
The lifetime of a housefly.
Well, I guess in tangentially related fashion, Google has
I would name it
partnered with-
Sprocket.
Sprocket?
Sprocket.
No.
Why?
That's not a good. That's not any better of a name.
That's your opinion.
Why?
It's just a cool name. You
No.
know, if someone could be like, "Hey, can you write this better?" I'll be like, "Oh, I can just Sprocket it."
It's not even working for me. I'm going to call it, oops, our systems are a bit busy today. Please take a break and try again soon. Take a break? What do you mean take a break? I can't take a break. I'm on the clock.
We're recording a
ChatGPT.
podcast.
This is live.
Google has partnered with another company to work on a way of implanting like an invisible watermark into their AI generated images.
So wait, into Google's AI generated?
Yeah, images generated from...
I didn't know Google had an AI generator.
They do. It's not quite
Not
as
like
good.
public use.
I believe it is, actually. It's just not quite as good.
Huh. Neat.
Because they're a little behind.
Yeah.
Right. It's called Synth ID.
It's called what now?
ChatGPT's better.
The technology for identifying it, for putting the watermark in, is called Synth ID.
Does it say what it uses as determining factors?
Well, I mean,
Or is it identifying, or is it just pulling ones that Google is deciding to use and knows that they're already AI generated and marking them as AI generated?
like basically from now, like from the establishment of the software, they're putting these watermarks in to make them identifiable in the future.
Gotcha.
The image generator is called Imagen.
Ooh, that's not bad. I finally got it to load on an aside. And it's got AI Spark, ByteBot, Synth AI, QuickMind, Nano AI, ZingBot, Swift Synth, AI Flare, Instamind, Snap AI, AI Pulse, Quick AI, Byte Blitz, Zoom AI, and AI Glide.
I'm a big fan of ZingBot.
ZingBot's great. QuickMind, Megamind,
Well, there's also one of those like AI Flare.
AI Flare.
What did you prompt it to get that response?
I said, what would you call an AI program that is catchy and short?
Oh.
Which is what I wanted. And none of these are really catchy, but Flare, Snap, Pulse. This is a great podcast. No, I didn't mean to derail us, but yes, Google and watermarks are good for AI. It's good to have watermarks.
I think in these AI image generator tools, being able to tell what stuff is AI generated is going to be incredibly important as this technology gets better and better. And as it gets better and better, I'm worried that it's not going to be possible unless these companies, do things like this where it, embeds it within the image in a way that it can't be destroyed. But even then, I'm not sure how effective it's going to be if, in the video displaying this technology, it showed that it can't be removed and can still be detected after using basic image editing tools. But what happens if you start to do things more complicated, like taking just sections of AI generated images,
Mashing them together
with tools like Photoshop? And I mean, at that point, you are essentially
you could do that with normal
you could do that
photos.
with normal photos
Yeah.
now, but I don't know. We'll see. I think part of the problem is that a lot of the stuff is open source, and it's
that's what I was
going
gonna
to be
bring up.
very difficult to
just because Google
regulate
and
this stuff.
OpenAI decide that they're going to do this, does it mean that there's not a million GitHubs with, their own projects utilizing some other engine that may not be as robust or proficient, but still can get the job done?
Yeah.
And if your whole goal is to try to, there's a lot of like slippery slope as far as using AI for nefarious purposes, but if that's what you're trying to prevent, there are always going to be ways to circumvent this. Unless you make it illegal in some way, which we haven't reached that point yet at all. That's, as we've seen with like the way some of this stuff gets regulated in Congress, like it's usually 15 years late, or 15 years after something's already happening. So,
yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky situation. I think I think the biggest thing that we can do as consumers, as just people, is just trying to learn out of the telltale signs of these AI generated images right now. Just kind of learn what to look for in terms of those, in terms of deep fakes, things like that. Just I think right now the best AI image detectors, at least at the moment, are just people who know what to look for.
Yeah, we need like a Smokey the Bear mascot that's like for AI, that's like only you can prevent AI manipulation. Some kind of, maybe like a Zing bot, perhaps?
Zing bot, yeah. He'll zing you.
Actually, I think I've changed my answer for the hypothetical. I want to go to the world of Zing bot. That's where I want to be. And I want to be the main character, the protagonist of Zing bot.
I think that would just be Zing bot, right?
I think I would become Zing bot.
Man.
I think if we're gonna have like a mascot for this, we should get Burkbot out there.
Yeah,
we should get him on the front lines.
We should make it like Burkbot's cousin, Zingbot.
Oh, and he's just like sarcastic. He has quips.
Yeah, like,
isn't that a thing? I'm pretty sure that Zingbot is a real thing on like a show I used to watch.
If it would, it'd totally be like Futurama.
No, it was like Big Brothers. I'm pretty sure they have like a robot they bring in on the show Big Brother that's like Survivor, but like without all the living in squalor.
Zingbot 9000, colloquially known as Zingbot, is a robot visitor that is featured on the American version of the television show Big Brother.
Yeah, he comes in at one point in the season. I don't remember specifically, but I think he comes in and he just like roasts everybody in the house. He'll like say, Noah, you look terrible today. Zing!
Oh man, I would cry.
Yeah. But it would usually be something relevant to what was happening.
I mean, that's pretty much what it's like going into the office every day and Michael's there.
That's
He's like,
true.
Noah, you're ugly. Zing!
That's not true.
Yeah, you would say that on the podcast.
I feel like that is, for some around here, that may be their actual, like they come into the office and it's just zing after zing.
Oh, yeah. So Google's doing okay with AI.
Well,
How are they good at Monopoly?
They may not be for much longer, Noah.
arguably, Google has been the best at Monopoly.
Yeah, they have, was it Park Place?
Boardwalk.
And Boardwalk. And they've also passed go so many times and collected so many $200.
But Disney owns all the railroads.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I think Google's doing well enough that they've also got like the green properties.
Who do you think would win in Monopoly, Disney or Google?
Google. No, yeah, Google 100%. Because they're not laying off and like trying to spin off all their franchises and restructuring and selling ESPN. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of entertainment ventures under Disney right now that are not panning out super well.
That's true.
I mean, Disney's going to be fine, but like
yeah.
like things like Google search have such staying power that
yeah, they built a lot of hotels on like one of the Orange properties or whatever. I don't know. I don't have a photographic memory of the Monopoly board.
What, St. James Place?
Yeah, they've got 3 hotels on
Virginia
St.
and Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's not good. Not a good thing.
So we're beating around the bush a little bit here, but the federal government is taking Google to court.
It's the U.S. District Court. It's good old-fashioned monopoly law.
Right. Very much like they're literally using the same laws they used to break up like the Carnegie and Vanderbilt railroads back in like what, the 20s?
Yeah, like late 1800s.
The laws they put in place in like the Gilded Age that really have not been touched since then. And this is probably not getting talked about enough, because this could really shake up the fabric of the technology space. Because like, if these massive tech giants start to get like broken up into smaller companies and things like that, it's really going to, alter the technology field in a way that I don't know how. I'm not an economist. Economist. Thank you. Sorry. I don't know.
So this happened in '84 to AT&T. Funny thing is, they split it up into 7 regional telco companies, and like fast forward 30 years later, and they're in the same position they were before. Like AT&T just basically absorbed more as time goes on. So I think we've touched on this a few times, but it's not even just Google. But if you just pick 5 industries that you're knowledgeable about or are interested in, at this point in time, you'll pretty much find some kind of small market share monopoly between 2 to 3 companies.
Yeah.
We were talking about video games earlier, but like, Activision, the Activision merger with
Microsoft.
Microsoft, and then before that, Activision buying Blizzard. Like, these companies just get eaten up. And there's EA, there's Take-Two, I think, which is like 2K and the Grand Theft Auto parent company. But there's like 3 main players in the video game industry. And for the large-scale games that people look forward to, you see, a release every 4 years, 3 to 4 years. Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, there were more studios that were taking more chances. Most of these games that are coming out, especially games like Madden or NBA 2K, they're taking the least amount of chances because they don't have to, and there's really no need because they're going to make money regardless because there's no one else really doing this.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, at least in like the video game industry, there's a lot of really talented indie developers and things like that who are still managing to make really fun, creative, and unique projects. Like, honestly, with those sports games, those companies have exclusive rights agreements with those development companies, which are less than ideal. But
that's true, but most of the talent, though, and they end up at larger studios because they can pay more, and they, the working conditions may not be the best, but even before, like in the early 2000s, I just remember in gaming specifically, there just being a lot more variety, there being a lot more, the larger studios that are capable of making the more well-polished games, and you can say this with movies and TV shows too, there was just more chances being taken because you were trying to risk whatever to gain market share. But now you don't have to do that. Studios don't have to do that. Same thing with Google. They don't have to take risks. They don't really have to innovate. I would say, honestly, of the tech companies, Google does a decent job of innovating. They have the, I forgot exactly what that program is called, but, we make a joke that there's a new Google app or something, and maybe they'll be around for 6 months, and maybe a really awesome idea, and then they'll just cut funding. But
yeah, they did great with Google Glass.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like this may not be a horrible thing, because monopolies aren't good for industries, and they're not good for the consumer,
right.
Especially.
I agree.
I mean, what do you
not
think?
A big Monopoly fan.
I don't mind it on the weekends if I have like a whole day to commit to it.
The whole family get
Yeah.
together.
All right.
But
cut the crap. When was the last time you played a game of Monopoly?
I don't know, probably like a year or so ago. More recent than you.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know why I said that so hostile. I'm sorry.
Monopoly, the game, is almost as bad for the general population as real monopolies are.
So, like,
Not really,
what do you think could be the worst that happens out of this?
Well, I don't know. It's not that I think that anything terrible is going to come out of this. I just think, in terms of the technology industry, we've never really seen. It's unprecedented. Like, what's going to happen if a company like Google loses its kind of chokehold on the search engine per se?
Well, yeah, but I mean, even if it turns into a thing where they can't, what is it, like they're not going to be able to make that the first thing everyone sees when they get on the internet?
Yeah, at this point,
I still just, even if I'm not on Google, I'll go to Google.
Yeah, as far as market share goes, they're always good. And that's the same thing with the AT&T thing in '84. AT&T just got their market share back, but that's a little different. But as far as a search engine, I guess if Apple signed a deal with DuckDuckGo and that was the default search engine, people would use it more. But I don't really think that that's going to change. Like when you ask someone to look something up, you're not going to say DuckDuckGo this. It's like it's the Kleenex of search engines. Like you're going to call anything a Kleenex. You're going to call searching for something on the web Google. They've already won in that aspect.
Yeah.
But what would be interesting, or what is interesting for this, is that if they break up other parts of Google's business, they have the search engine part, they've got the AdSense side, they've got YouTube, they own the research and development for the phones. They have their own, they kind of sort of have their own fiber internet service that sometimes works and sometimes shows up in places they say they're going to. But breaking up all of that probably is going to have more of an impact, or a direct impact. But as far as the search engine goes, like, that's done. That's been done for 20 years. Like, there's no way Yahoo which Yahoo doesn't even exist in that space anymore. But
and I can
there
promise
is talk that apparently, not significantly, but like Bing has been gaining like some ground on Google's
because of the AI integrations, probably.
Probably because of the AI integrations and
the Chromium Edge rollout.
Right. I think there's more people who, as more people get new PCs, and the people who are not as like loyal to Google just on the principle of it will just continue to just use Edge and Bing because it's what's defaulted out of the box.
I'm not a big fan of Bing. I mean, I can't say I'm a big like Google stan either. I feel like I generally get better results from Google than
honestly, if you've never tried DuckDuckGo, it probably is the best search engine.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfiltered as far as, with Google's their original main source of revenue was the paid ad. You could pay to have your result as an ad. Obviously, DuckDuckGo doesn't do that, and I feel like it gets more if you're searching for like academically, or if you're trying to find something on the web, like from a specific. If you have like at least a premise of what you're looking for, it seems to give me better results. Yeah, I may have to go 3 or 4 pages deep into Google.
I'll be honest. Up until about 3 minutes ago, I've never heard of DuckDuckGo.
Yeah,
I played DuckDuckGoose in school.
We talked about DuckDuckGo on the on our wildly popular online news show.
Did we?
News.exe.
Well, when? I forgot about that.
By talking about it, Noah read from a script.
I mean, yeah, that's not talking.
He glossy-eyed read what was written and then forgot immediately what it was.
Just powering through, dog.
Well, DuckDuckGo is also super privacy-centric. So, the whole Google builds a profile on you based on your search history.
That was the context in which we were talking about it, yeah.
But it's a good alternative. It's just, at this point, due to convenience and, everybody, I still just use Google. Like, my brain goes to Google when I want to look something up because that's what I've always done since I was a child.
Michael gets mad at me because when I go to Google something, I still, go to Google.
Oh, yeah, you don't just search in the use Chrome?
Yeah. I don't know, it's just like a habit that I've not broken.
Were you, I guess you guys probably were. I always act like I'm way older than you, but do you remember, search toolbars in the browser?
Yeah.
So, when Chrome came out and you had the ability to just use the URL bar as a search bar, too, that blew my mind as, a 13-year-old, 12-year-old, I guess. I was like, whoa, I don't have to download this crummy search bar. And if you ever went to a grandparent's house, they had, 9 of them.
Oh, my gosh. It was, half your screen.
Yeah. And they're always, it was, a Yahoo, and I'm sure that it had, some kind of, crawler or something that was, stripping this data and sending it somewhere. But it was, fix your PC search bar, because they typed in my PC's not running great, and they downloaded some tool that added a search bar. It was the best. I miss those days. Now everyone's got the same standard browser that's boring.
Yeah.
I miss Internet Explorer with 19 toolbars and favorites bar wrapped around.
Yeah, you have an inch of screen left to see your website.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if... Well, I think if the federal government even can build a case here. Because, it's not like this is just a, for sure win for the federal government just because the federal government has decided to make this case. Google's spending billions of dollars fighting this, hiring tons of lobbyists and tons of energy and money just thrown into this case.
Yeah, and I think they would have a better case, the I don't know if it was an antitrust case, but there was the case against Microsoft in the 90s because they were restricting Windows. They were basically packaging it with Internet Explorer, and they were making it the default, and you could not change it.
Oh, wow.
You could download other web browsers, but if you opened a link, it would open it in Internet Explorer. And actually, there was a version of Windows in, I think it was called like N. I believe it was like versions in Europe because they had different laws, and you couldn't package. You can't package Internet Explorer. Basically, they ended up losing this, and they couldn't make that the default anymore. But I think that's where Google has a better shot as far as at least the search engine part of it. Because part of the case is that iPhones for years, and obviously Android phones being, a Google thing.
Google.
Yeah.
The default search engine for most of the browsers, and on the old iPhones, when you went to search something, it was Google. That it was defaulted to Google, but they never restricted you, to only using Google. You could always change that. It was just by the default setting out of the box.
Well, for a lot of people, it's not worth the effort of figuring out how to do it.
Right. I mean, why would you?
Yeah.
So I don't really know that. I'm sure they have other, obviously, a bigger case than just that. But things like that, I feel like Google never really did anything nefarious. They were just really good with, their business practices. A lot of the privacy stuff would be more concerning. I would really be more concerned personally about that than the monopoly on the search engine. But
yeah, no, I think just the biggest thing is that as far as Google goes, obviously they've got their hands in dozens and dozens of pies. But I would say Google.com, the search engine, is still what the first thing that comes to mind for most people when you think about Google.
And the hit technology Google Glass.
yeah, and also. What was the Google social media? G something?
Google Plus?
Google Plus, yeah, G Plus.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Google Plus.
Yeah, the only reason that I'm not able to forget about Google Plus is that for whatever reason, every time oftentimes in my job, I have to search for like the social icons for various things, and looking for like a group cluster of all the different social medias. Google Plus still in there.
Yeah,
still hanging around.
I was behind like
for some reason.
I don't know if it was I think it was a septic pumping company, and on the back of their septic tank they had their logo and like their social media handles, but it had Google Plus, and that was just made me chuckle so much.
That's so funny.
It had their Google Plus that I'm sure did exist obviously, but hasn't for some time.
Can I get your Google Plus?
Hey yo girl, let me see your Google Plus. Your GooGoo Plus.
GooGoo. You see that video that I think it's like an Italian guy or something trying to talk to his Google, and he's like, "Okay, Google."
That was like Scottish or something.
I don't know. He's old.
That was like Austin Powers, like get in my belly. Y'all remember Bonsai Buddy?
I feel like I do.
Bonsai Buddy's so funny because it's like super nefarious and it's like one of the worst malware, but it's so cute.
I think we should revive Clippy.
Yeah, that actually that's the Chat GPT.
Clippy. Yes.
It's owned by Microsoft. They could do it.
Everything Clippy we wanted Clippy to be is now going to be.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, imagine if that was just a widget on your computer now.
It goes 360.
Yeah, man. Clippy making a comeback. So I've thought about it, and I think that in terms of just living in another universe and having a life and not being any sort of important character, I'd want to live in the Shire.
Oh, the Shire?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't read the books, have you?
Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah. Some bad things
Let my
happen.
demise.
But maybe post-book Shire, because it does turn around.
Yeah,
maybe movie
around.
Shire.
Well, yeah. In movies, nothing ever happens.
So, see? Problem solved.
I think I would want to be Bonsai Buddy. I want to say, well, hello there. I don't think we've been properly introduced. I'm Bonzi. I guess it's Bonzi Buddy.
Bonzi. It kind of looks like Bonzi.
I was a child, so I just remember being Bonsai Buddy.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, did he actually do anything? Like, was he useful, but just, like, in the background, a bad thing?
I haven't done my research, but I'll have it next episode, and we'll deep dive into Bonzi Buddy.
All right.
Well, dig a little deeper.
It was spyware.
That'll be our...
And adware. I remember that.
I just feel like in most fictional universes, it sucks to just be a normal person.
Well, I mean, yeah, because the compelling part about most fictional content that we consume is that there's something bad happening that the main character's trying to fix.
It's true.
I don't know. Honestly, I think I might just go back to Starfield Because like in most situations, most planets, there's some way to work your way up, get like a ship, and then get out there, make yourself your own main character. Thank you for listening to It's News to Me. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see or hear more like it, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@BurkIT or go to our website at burkitc.com. Our theme music is Big City Lights by Up in the Air. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks to hear more from me, Noah, and Tyler. And in the meantime, keep your data secure and your mind sharp.
Be your own protagonist. That's the Burk IT way. You know, I don't know about you guys, but like the word protagonist, I know it's like the opposite of antagonist, but it still has like negative connotations in my head. Just because it's tagonist. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just something about that sounds bad.
Like I went to Domino's and the lady who took my order was such a tagonist.
Yeah.
Antagonized me until I paid for the pizza.